Shalom. Good afternoon. My book, China and the Jewish People, Old Civilizations in a New Era, exists in English and in Hebrew, in Ivrit. It's selling very well since 4 years. I have no idea who is buying it. I've never met a Jew who has read this book, except those who got the free copy. I think it's maybe the Arabs or the Iranians who are very concerned about growing relations between the Jews and China. So, to start with a bitter comment, after you got all these beautiful pictures, I am a Jew and not a Chinese. I don't have to be polite, and I'm going to say a few nasty things also. I had 3 reasons to write this, and I'm going to explain those to you. First, China's power to influence our future is rising rapidly, very rapidly. We are not aware of this. China is on the way to become the largest importer of Middle Eastern oil. It is becoming one of the largest investors in the Middle East. It is now a major voice in the Muslim world. The Muslims are listening to what China has to say, more than they listen to the West. So we should not ignore that. When I tell Israeli friends, do you know that there is a battalion of 1,000 Chinese soldiers standing opposite the Israeli border in Lebanon as a part of the UNIFIL troop? They are puzzled, they didn't hear that. Well, I saw these Chinese soldiers on Chinese television picking up cluster bombs. The Chinese people knows this. So China's power to influence our fate is growing very rapidly. Number 2, Chinese tradition is free of anti-Semitism more than any other, except maybe Hindu tradition, but they are not. This is a completely different story. The Chinese are the only great imperial civilization which has no holy books, where the Jews have killed God or killed the Son of God or rejected the Prophet of God or tried to poison the Prophet of God, etc., etc., etc. We have a blank slate there. We can start from scratch. There is no negative prejudice against us, and being a European, I can tell you how deep the negative prejudices are. There is a recent saying I heard in Europe, Europeans do no longer believe in Jesus, but they still believe that the Jews killed him. So you don't have that in China. Until very recently, and this can change now, there was no real anti-Semitic tradition. If we do the wrong things, this can change. This is an enormous chance we have. Spoiling this chance is an offense against Jewish history, an offense against the Jewish future. Number 3, third reason, and you heard this already, China, which means the Chinese elites, Chinese students, young people are open. They are very open. They look to the world, they are interested, they can be influenced. I don't want to sound megalomaniac. I am quoting to you what a very senior Chinese person told me a couple of years, 3 years ago. He is dean of the Renmin University, the main university, intellectual background of the Communist Party. He told me the Jewish people can help to shape the future of China if you so want, because we are open, we are interested, but you have to do something. So that's the situation we are in, and that is a situation where we do far too little. Since this book was written and I made 10 proposals, there is a continuation of scattered effort here and there. Rabbi Tokayr is a hero of mine. He goes to China with books which he gives to friends. He gives a little bit of money here and there. There are 5 or 6 other people like this. It is pathetic. It is pathetic. The Chinese effort to study Judaism is great. It is about of the size, a little bit smaller than what you have in Switzerland, which is the country I grew up. Switzerland has 7 million inhabitants. It has more universities studying Judaism, more students studying Judaism. It's Switzerland. China could do more and would do more if the finance would be here. But why should the Chinese people pay for its own resources? Chinese culture. Every other country I know, every other society I know is investing into its culture in China. The Germans are setting up Goethe institutes all over China. They are teaching German, the French do the same, the British do the same, Finland does the same, Switzerland does the same. The Jews, well, you know, Israel had the cultural policy. It collapsed in the year 2000 when the Israeli finance minister had to cut resources and the cultural attaché in Beijing was cut. We urgently need a greater effort now. We need a kind of Jewish Asia Institute or Jewish China Institute model to call them, in my view, I like very much the American Asia Institute, which is run by a businessman, chaired by a famous American ambassador, who is a Jew, by the way. A lot of Jews are there. It, under the cover of creating cultural bonds, it also pursues economic interests. Among the 2,000 people here in this conference, there are a fair number of Jewish multimillionaires. I don't ask any of you whether you are a multimillionaire. I would have wanted some of them to be here. Tremendous Jewish amounts of money go into all sorts of things. Let there be a little bit more to help the Chinese scholars who are teaching Judaism. We are barely at the beginning of this. I think our Jewish reaction to this new opportunity, this new need, has been miserable so far. Thank you very much.